Moving on now, let's get to your response to the story we ran last night, and the amount of feedback we got from you was really impressive. It was about a woman living in awful conditions in a mobile home that she's renting. You lit up our phone line and flooded our email inbox, and I thank you for that. It shows that you really do care. In case you missed it, you should check it out after the show. Watch it anytime on our KGW YouTube page. Kyla Boshi introduced us to a woman named Casey Jewell. She's a renter in a trailer park in Vancouver, and her mobile home is in awful condition. There's holes in the roof, the toilet's broken, the drain in the tub spills right out onto the ground. When Kyle visited in January, there was no running water. The outrage is this. Casey's paying $925 a month for rent, and because she fell behind during COVID, the owner is not required to fix a single thing. You heard that right. The landlord doesn't have to make the property habitable. That's because of a loophole in Washington state law that says the landlord does not have to make even basic repairs if the renter is behind on the rent. Kyle also showed us the landlords are Michael and Denise Werner. He found out they own a $1.8 million home on the Columbia River and a pair of mansions in Arizona, one of which is on the market for $7.4 million. By the way, they did not respond to our questions, even though we reached out several different ways. So, yes, there is quite a lot to be upset about in that story, and many of you are. Here's just a sample. Donna writes in to say, not only should the landlord be providing basic services and maintenance, but someone this unethical should not have the right to own rental properties. I don't feel he deserves to have this power over others. Many of you are outraged by the conditions in that mobile home.
Nobody should have to live like that in that mobile home. Them owners of that property need to pull that mobile home out and put another one in there. She should not even have to pay rent and living in those conditions. This is ridiculous.
I feel that they ought to make the owners live there for 1 month and then recheck with the owners on what they want to do.
Thanks for those comments. Jay wrote in to add, comparing the properties of the millionaire Werners live in to the miserable trailer that they have the nerve to rent out makes me wish the Werners could have a learning experience. If only the Werners could be forced to spend a week in that leaky, moldy trailer without a toilet and running water. Calling their renters trash is so wrong. Thousands of you watched the story on YouTube. We do look at your comments over there. Thanks for leaving them. Rebecca is one of many who felt compelled to write, saying, Washington government should be ashamed that they allow this. How can they allow landlords to treat humans like this? How can they increase rent when the home is dilapidated? Yeah, I forgot to tell you that part. Casey's rent was $925 a month. Now it's going up to $950. And yes, it's totally legal under that loophole in Washington state law. There is a bill in Washington's legislature that might change that, but it's unclear if it'll pass. As part of the feedback from last night, it's clear several of you who are watching are landlords yourselves. Some wanted to add a bit of context. Anne wrote in to say, the Werners are a good example of what many tenants think landlords are, and they give all of us a bad reputation. However, I can also understand the exception in the Washington law. There have been instances where tenants have trashed the property and then stopped paying rent, claiming that it's uninhabitable so they don't have to pay rent. Finally, many of you asked how you can help. Here's a message from Kelly. Is there a GoFundMe way to assist Casey? How brave of her to come forward. Well, yes, Kelly, there is a GoFundMe. Thanks for asking. Thanks to all of you who responded through email, voicemail, with messages on YouTube and everywhere else. And to answer your question, there is definitely a GoFundMe page. It's been set up by the girlfriend of Casey's son, so KGW has no control over it. I took this screenshot from earlier today. Already $5,400 have come in to help her out. That does not surprise me. You're a very generous bunch. If you want to take part and donate, you'll find a link to the GoFundMe page at kgw.com as part of Kyle's print story there. It's about halfway down the story. Thanks again for all your comments and concern. I love that I can have this conversation with you like this. I really think it's what makes our news show different than anything else you'll find in the country. Please keep us going. Tell your friends about us. Moving